boop, boop.
Kimberling City, Missouri. I don't think I've even heard of that town before.
There's a whole bunch of towns I've never
I
heard
don't know.
of.
I've heard of a lot of Missouri towns. I've been to quite a few.
Nice. That's good. Good news. Hey, National Hot Chocolate Day today?
It is National Hot Chocolate Day today.
And that's why we're drinking coffee.
I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah, delicious bean juice. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. It's Friday. It's January 31st.
Now the screen says it's in 14 days. No, that's the next show. So hopefully Bobby C.
Did I pick the wrong one?
No. I did 2 shows
Ahead of time.
Yeah, because we're not doing a show next week because we're going to have 5 more people coming into the shop.
Oh, we got our class going on next week.
We got the class going on next week.
Nice.
So I just said, I'm just going to schedule the one after that, which happens to be on Valentine's Day.
Oh, good. That's my favorite day of the year. It's the only day I have to let you know I love you.
No, I don't even care.
Even that day, she doesn't care. Okay, you know what I wanted to show you guys? I finally finished my windows. That was just one of those projects, frankly, anything dealing with the house that's a convenience project, I love those when I can actually use my skill set to do something that really makes things better. And not just a piece of furniture, but in this case, the window casing. So I do have a picture if you guys want to see. I haven't
I guess I'll show it to you.
I haven't revealed this at all.
I wanted to say,
anybody.
before we do that.
Oh, you're not going to click the
picture? We
picture?
look really cute in blue together.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
So
beautiful.
There's the little kitchen eating area. And you can see we've got the casing around there, and we also installed some motorized shades. I always want to say blinds. They're motorized shades from Smart Wings.
Dude, I feel like I'm living in the future now.
With those, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, they respond, so they're Matter, which is compatible with a lot of different ecosystems. I use Apple's HomeKit, and I'm able to tell the windows to do whatever I want them to do. They're also on a schedule, which helps us block the sun in the morning, but then move them up later on in the day. My plants get plenty of light. I love it. It's so cool. And again, just a house project. It's just one of those things I really get excited about.
Yeah. Should I switch back?
Yes, please.
All right. So we've had a few. Should we talk about it?
What? Oh yeah, we're in the shop. Did you guys notice?
Yeah, we're in the shop.
What do you think?
The internet is great.
Internet is working out real good here.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I got to get this right there, and then I got to do this. Whoops!
Psych.
We practical joked you.
Oh, so Bobby C, you're in the shop. Did you get fiber?
Oh no.
No, we didn't get fiber.
We got
Alex.
We got chroma key.
Alex says, I bet they're in the shop this time. Okay. Called it.
Yeah. So there you go.
I wish that was April 1st. Oh, that's pretty good.
So yeah, I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little more of a comfort, what you're used to seeing. I don't know. It's fine.
I love it. I love it. It's great.
It just casual passersby would never necessarily know.
Yeah. No.
The other thing is, this only gets better when I get better lighting in here. Right now, it's just kind of cobbled together. It's not as good as it could be. This is actually my first time doing any kind of a chroma keying green screen.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of what we see, and I'm going to put it in MARC's Instagram scrap pile channel.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of see what I see.
Yeah, we're in the kids' playroom downstairs.
Matteo said, please show off my Legos. So I'm going to take some pictures, and then here's Ava's stuffies.
All right. So there you go. We're going to leave it there for now.
I think this is fine.
It's totally fine. And we'll get to whatever's next here.
It's a comfort zone. And here's the thing. People coming in after you won't even know.
Nope, they won't.
Unless they
watch the replay.
It,
All right, let's get through the rest of this stuff here.
So we got lots to talk about. In fact, where's my notes?
Chris Kelmassi says, can you reach behind you and grab your favorite plane on the wall? Yeah, hold on a second. Hold on. Oh, these magnets are really strong. Oh, it's just not going. Does this do anything? No. Even with a little bit of movement.
Green screen's
pretty good.
Crazy, man.
Okay.
All right, so you want to say yours is the next one. Tune in later.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just discombobulated.
It's all right.
I am releasing a video later on. Here's the stupid thumbnail.
It's so stupid.
Enjoy it.
I do like the. I wish we were at that house right there.
With the snow.
With the snow.
That AI generated. Beautiful.
I love that
scene.
window. It would be so cold at that window, but I would love every second of it.
Not really good for the electric bill.
But yeah, Mark pulled out the fake fireplace that didn't really do much.
Yeah.
And turned it into functional space. So.
Yep. So that is now, that's in our basement. Everything's in the basement these days. It's like a little, kind of like a home theater, sort of sitting room, family room type area. And I wanted to add 5.1 sound in there, and the fireplace was in my way. And Nicole authorized gutting it and replacing it with a wooden
I love it
insert.
when he sets me up to make me think it's my idea.
Well, any smart spouse knows how to play that game, I know you play that game with me.
I play that game too
as well. So
yeah.
And what's this Sleep in Heavenly Peace, Wentzville?
Yes. So Rich, who is the shop teacher at Timberland High School here in St. Charles County, Wentzville, reached out to me, and the students are building 60 beds. And he asked and I think it's like $60 a bed. But the whole goal, it's actually a national organization that builds beds for kids that don't have beds. And so he reached out to me and said, hey, would you, I don't know if you want to or if you can, would you sponsor some beds? I'm like, yeah, I'll sponsor some beds, then I'll do you one even better. I'll mention it on the live show. And so I'll put a link in the chat and in the show notes. For the Wentzville one, now keep in mind there are other locations. So if you go on Facebook and I can't do the copy and paste anymore. I really wish I could. If you go into Facebook and type in "Sleep in Heavenly Peace," it'll usually say like Florida or different. So there's a ton in Missouri. But the whole point is woodworkers are building beds for kids that don't have beds. And
kids should have beds.
I just wanted to tell Rich that I'm putting the word out, and then we're sponsoring 3 beds. And I'm going to try, and Craig, I know you're in the chat. I told Rich we might even be able to work with you to get a good price on the wood. I don't know what kind of wood he's looking for, but I figure we can collaborate.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. It's a great cause throughout the United States. Sleep in Heavenly Peace is the organization, and then they have chapters in different places in the United States.
Good deal. All right, I see you threw some kickback in here.
Oh yes,
taking a cue from Wood Talk.
I'm copying Wood Talk.
That's a whole segment on the Wood Talk podcast that you guys haven't heard. We always do kickback, which is what we call our feedback.
Feedback. Oh,
so look, not questions, but feedback.
I do have it right here.
I should say sometimes it is a question. It's something that was brought up in a previous show or feedback or something like that.
Why does the Command V not work?
I don't know.
Because it's you that's on it. Get off of my link. That's me. All right. So I'll put the link to the Sleep in Heavenly Peace in the chat. Here is kickback. So this is from Dan. He just wrote back. I send out an email letting people know when live is happening. And I usually I try to send it out anywhere from no less than an hour before the show. Some people get upset because they're like, I just got this email like 6 hours ago. I can't help that. So if you really, really want to watch this show, your best bet is to actually sign up for notifications from YouTube. So if you go to the page, they'll give you a notification. But he replied to me and said, I wanted to thank you for your review of the Jessam XL2 miter gauge. I ended up getting one a few months ago. They did fix a couple of things you didn't like about it in your review. Might be worth another look if you haven't done that already. It's much, much useful more useful and accurate than the original miter gauge I got with my Unisaw a couple decades ago. I should have upgraded that years ago.
Yeah, that's not a high bar to clear.
Yeah.
Most stock miter gauges are pretty crappy. I wasn't aware that they made other changes other than the flip stop becoming micro adjustable. And they were kind enough to send me one of those since I inspired them to actually do it. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe they did some more changes, but I mean, it's already what I would consider the best one on the market. So if they made it even better, that's great. That's just gravy. We'll call that miter gauge gravy.
Before I go to the next kickback, we have a very, very important question that came from the chat. This is from Rawls' 11-year-old. Wants to know how old you are.
Doesn't matter to an 11-year-old. Isn't everybody 80 years old to an 11-year-old? Like, there's sense of age.
I know. So, Rawl, I don't know if it's a girl or a boy, but I'll just say my daughter, who is 9, considers anything prior to her birth as the olden times.
Yeah. Right. And they refer to the 1980s. Like, were you...
Oh, my God.
Or the 1900s.
The 1900s.
Were you alive in the 1900s?
Were you alive in the 1900s? I'm like...
So, to answer the question, I'm 47 years old.
You had to calculate it. I watched...
I pay and have never really paid, I guess, after 21.
After 25, because 25 was when I could legally rent a car without any issues.
Yeah, for me it was 21. Once I got to drinking age, past voting age, all that stuff, I just stopped worrying about my age. So I do often have to check.
Yes.
And I'll hear her talk about her age. And then I know we're close, so that must be my number 2.
He's 1 year younger than me. We share the same age for about...
what am I doing here? My mic, go ahead.
About a week.
Yeah.
So he was born on April 15th. I was born on April 23rd. So, and we are 1 year apart. So I'm 40... Would you say you were 47?
You're 48.
I'm 48.
Okay. So last bit of kickback here?
Yes. So this came in a couple weeks ago. And someone said it was something, I was wearing a sweatshirt that I had picked up when we went to Estes Park, Colorado. And I love the sweatshirt. It's from an artist, not in Estes Park. She actually lives in Boulder. And the question was, is that image of Bigfoot on your wife's shirt? Where did she get it? And I said, it is Bigfoot. And it says, don't feed the Sasquatch. And the artist, I brought down, this is, I don't know if you can see this, but this is her little, and she has all of these prints. And
if that's green, it's going to be clear.
Oh, is it? You want to?
I don't know if it's going to pick it up.
See?
Is that blue or green?
Oh, no, you can see it. It's blue.
It's blue.
So this is the image of the Sasquatch that was on my sweatshirt. But she does a lot of cool stuff. So like with Mothman, and so it's Squatch. Is that how you say it?
Daft Squatch?
Daft Squatch.
Daft Squatch Designs.
And she upcycles apparel, and she does amazing prints. I love her. If you're interested in some of her cool, like if you're into like Mothman and the Wingo, it's all the stuff from
Wingo? What the hell's a Wingo?
It's a creature. So it's in Fallout 76.
I already lost interest. Okay.
But anyway,
let's go to the questions.
Check out her website. I'll put their website in the chat. I adore her, and I adore her mission, which is to upcycle apparel. So nothing that she has is like consistent.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay.
That's my response to that question.
Very nice. We've got some questions. Questions came in from Patreon and YouTube. So it's patreon.com/woodwhisperer. If you want to help support the show, get your questions on this show as like a priority at the beginning. Also YouTube members as well. We collect questions from both places. And then of course the chat room. If you guys are in the chat room right now, leaving a question there, Nicole usually grabs those and integrates them.
I'm already Mike De Niro. Okay, what's your mother's maiden name?
Yep. You want my credit card number now too? This is one savvy, spicy 11-year-old.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Tim F. had a question. I'm looking for some guidance on a sander or jointer. I've been looking at the Jet 1632, which is around $1,200. There is a picture of that if you want to put that up.
I will.
As for jointers, I'm all over the map. 6-inch benchtop, 8-inch mega machine. Any suggestions on which to purchase first and the most bang for the buck? Any guidance would be appreciated. So really what this is a question of like, which comes first, jointer or drum sander? For me, this is a very clear answer, Tim. A jointer is far more important to the fundamentals of the early stages of the woodworking process in jointing and milling your lumber. A drum sander is a luxury purchase. In fact, as much as I love having a drum sander, it's probably the one thing in my shop that could go and I might not miss it for a while. It's definitely one of those luxury type purchases, unless you're doing work that constantly requires you to make your own veneer, and you're just in that like little niche. You probably would make a whole lot more use out of a drum sander than the average woodworker. So I would definitely consider for most people the drum sander to be next level. Like once you've got everything else done, satisfy all those other needs, then you could do the drum sander. So that would be my advice, is to hold off on the drum sander.
Matteo has requested that we show his Lego collection. Not right now, son. Maybe at the end.
We can pull the picture in at the end.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Got another question here from Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy.
We like Jeremy. Jeremy is always...
Well, actually, this should have. I didn't know you were doing a kickback. This is just feedback.
Oh, feedback.
Yeah, no questions. Just wanted to say I know Nicole is going through a tough time, and I'm thinking of you guys. Have been with you for over 15 years. Your family is our family, and we wish you the best. Also received Girl Scout cookies from Ava's cookie sale the other day, all the way in New York.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jeremy.
If you order cookies, because the cookie sales hasn't happened. It won't happen until like mid-February. But if you order cookies from Ava's cookie site, you'll get them in like a few days.
It happened pretty quickly.
It happened really quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna miss the opportunity to put Ava's cookie sale page, because that girl she's like, I want to sell some cookies.
Well, because she's sitting there doing nothing, and Mom is selling all the cookies. I would do that too.
But and it's for the entire troop. So the troop, what they do with this money is, like, they went and did a pottery class, and then they did a Build-A-Bear class, and then they go to the Magic House, and they go camping, and it's just a cute organization. And I'm actually really, I was just telling one of the cookie moms, the main cookie mom, that I have been very sick. And it's been one of those things that has kind of helped normalize things for Ava while I go through this. So, but I'm feeling much better, Jeremy. I stopped the steroid that I was prescribed, and that made a world of difference. But it's going to be a process. It's going to be a long process.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too much into the medical stuff, but thank you, Jeremy.
Yes.
And Nicole did have her IVIG last weekend.
Saturday.
It's a weird experience. It's tough watching her go through it, and hopefully this will all lead us to a better place.
And I get to do it next Thursday too.
Yeah, it's
right before the class.
Get to do it again. So, okay, next question here. M. Packirk.
M. Packert.
How do I properly bond a dust collection system with a mix of metal pipe and metal and plastic fittings? Okay, so two answers to this. One is, from what I understand, a lot of people will run a little copper line. If you're really trying to do this, you could run a copper line throughout the system, and just make sure that wherever you're securing it, you secure it to the metal, and eventually that copper line can go to the ground on an outlet or something, or some other large piece of metal. I'm not an electrician. I don't know much about it, but look that up. People do run copper lines to dissipate the static charge. I think the bigger question, though, the other side of this, is whether you really need to. I think there's been some talk about explosions and things like that that's been debunked over time, that the likelihood of an explosion from a simple static shock or something like that happens in the shop, it's just not really going to happen. So a lot of people the only reason to really ground is if you're getting shocked a lot, and it's becoming a problem, a comfort issue. Like every time you touch this thing, you get shocked by it. That's not good, so you might want to look at grounding for that. But for safety purposes, I personally don't think it's necessary, and everything I've read about it reinforces that it's not really necessary. So maybe you do nothing, and as long as you're not getting shocked by it, you'll be fine.
I just want to let you know, you guys make me laugh in the chat.
You make me laugh.
So if you see me like kind of giggling to myself and smiling, I'm reading your chats and I'm laughing.
I always thought it was you were farting.
Probably that too. It happens.
Okay.
We got a super chat from Robert. We love you, Robert. To help buy an iron for that green sheet.
Do we need to, though?
I don't know. It is pretty kind of wrinkly.
When you see it.
Well, I have
Is it distorting the image?
I think it is a little bit.
No. No.
Well, I have one of those.
We don't iron our clothes in this house.
We do have an iron.
No. We don't iron our clothes in this house.
I iron my quilts. So when I quilt,
Yeah.
I have an iron that I use for my quilting
But it never gets ironed again. And nothing in this house gets ironed. We don't live with an iron.
We're not
iron people.
We're not ironing.
We're more like fluff it out of the dryer and get it folded as soon as possible.
Run it another cycle.
Right. Add a little moisture and run it again type of people.
Can I tell you that I am the type of person that when the dryer has stopped and it's been too long to pull them out warm, I will run it on a quicker cycle to make them warm, and then if I forget it again, there's been times I run it like 4 times.
Well, that explains why we have no money, Nicole. Thank you for doing that. Appreciate that.
It's just,
the environment appreciates it. The world is burning, and Nicole's drying things 10 times. So that's good to know. All right. So we have a question from Kent. He says, if I'm going to apply veneer to plywood for a shelf, do I need to apply it to both sides to avoid any warping problems? It'll be 3/4 inch plywood. Simple answer to this one, Kent, yes. Yes, it's something that if you don't do it, you will generally see that piece starts to warp. Now, you can sometimes get away with this if the thing you're making is going to be very quickly and soon after the veneering process put into some other kind of assembly. It's still not great to do because you don't want it to apply pressure and cause, possible future failures, but you could do it technically. But if you are doing a free-floating shelf like that on just, some brackets or whatever, you really want something that on its own is stable. You don't want to count on those brackets to hold it flat. So yeah, I would definitely veneer both sides, keep it stable, keep it balanced, and you'll have a much better result.
Can I had a weird head thing. Can I read some questions from the chat?
Yeah.
Kevin Hahn says, house projects. How long will take?
This is not a question.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry. Never mind.
But I like where Kevin's going.
I blame it on my brain.
How long it will take is how long it should take.
I'm getting a twitchy.
Yeah.
Oh, that was when we were laughing about us not actually being in the shop.
Right.
Bobby C said, are the mattress makers who were all over my channel for a while donating mattresses? Probably not.
Nope, I'm sure they're not.
But I will say that...
Hold on. Are these children influencers? Because if you can get these children to start Instagram accounts...
Oh my God.
They probably can get free mattresses.
They probably could get some purple mattresses.
These kids... They could be sitting there on a brand new purple mattress, listening to their ISO tunes while wearing an RZ mask. They could be decked out. We're really not thinking globally about this. We got to really...
Rich, we can think about this.
We've got ideas. Honestly, can you see these little kids with their new Harvey bandsaw? Right? They really could take advantage of this situation.
But I will say, Bobby C, that the link that I sent you in Facebook, there's a Amazon wish list, and they're asking for mattresses. So they have these are the types of mattresses we're looking at: pillows, bedding. So it's more than just building the bed. It's actually saying, here, you have everything you need to have a nice, comfy sleep.
Mattress is a big part of the equation.
I had a bed growing up.
No way.
I know, it's hard to believe.
I choose not to believe it.
But I enjoyed sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
Like there was something, I don't know. I liked sleeping on the floor. I had, my bed was like kind of close to the wall. So I would find putting my blankets down onto the bed and I would just sleep on the floor, kind of smushed in.
It's because you're half German Shepherd. Remember that, that trick I used to do to the kids?
Yeah.
I used to try to convince, I'm not going to do the whole thing because I've told the story before, but I used to try to convince the kids when they were younger that we were half German Shepherd. and then I had this whole, they're like, what? Nuh-uh. And I'm like, yeah. And
right here. Right
here. Anyway, you guys, it's funny. Maybe I'll tell the whole thing one day.
You just did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, do you have a question?
No, you okay? You need to go do something?
No, I just got a little bubble that's bubbling.
Okay, here, I want to make it look natural. Okay. So we'll both do it.
Yeah.
Okay, what, do you have another question?
I always have questions. I have a question here from John Pogovich. I do a lot of resawing.
Yeah.
8/4 mostly. You know what? Ever since you did that marketing measuring demo in Guild Plus, I feel much more confident and comfortable about my fractions.
Really?
Yes.
I thought you were going to say you feel much more comfortable using the metric system.
No.
Because that's what most people got out of it.
I mean, I've been through school, but, you know.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 people don't get fractions.
She says, I done did school, and I know my numbers.
But anyway.
Oh, hold on a second. The measuring and marking thing, if you guys aren't familiar, and we don't plug Guild Plus enough.
We don't.
If you are interested in some of the live demos that we do over in the Guild, we've got some really cool stuff. One of those was really breaking down and geeking out on measuring and marking, where to cut, how to cut on a line, or leaving the line, what all that means. That was a fun and kind of a deep dive demo. That is available for Guild Plus subscribers. Yeah. So if you go to the woodwhispererguild.com, I believe /plus, you'll learn what that is, and it's something that you could subscribe for, a month, and you watch an archived course from the Guild as part of that. There's a whole bunch of benefits, but it's called Guild Plus.
Yeah.
And the last one was on measuring and marking. I think you guys would like that.
And you know what I'm going to do?
I do not.
If you stick around, I'm going to give you a coupon to get you a free month of Guild Plus since you're hanging out with us today.
Ooh.
I'm not going to give you right now because I don't know the code. So I have to look up the code.
Okay.
So
I love it.
You can use the code and you can watch that demo.
First one's free.
Then
you're going to be hooked.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really a fun time.
All right. Well,
Chris
Kalnassi, my good buddy, has a question. He says, hey, good buddy. That's how you know we're good buddies.
Did we even answer John's question?
No.
No, we didn't. I just was like, I was proud of myself for saying 8/4.
Oh, well, you took us on a tangent, and then we didn't finish the question. Okay, 8/4 mostly resawing. Lately, my resaws have been cupping really bad. Could the fact that it's 1 to 2 common, 1-2 common grade have anything to do with that? I mean, maybe. Sometimes the way it's dried can lead to inherent instability, and then when you start cutting, you get a little bit of drifting, or you get a little bit of pressure being relieved in the cut. So it certainly is possible, especially if it was behaving previously, and then you switch to a new batch of material that suddenly starts to cup on you. But this also could fall into the very deep well of potential problems that could be happening at a bandsaw. Very difficult for me to diagnose from a distance, but when you get that like barrel sort of cut, sometimes it could be a blade tension issue, it could be a blade sharpness issue, it could just be a general calibration issue on the saw. All these things have to be looked at, and it's a little bit hard for me to troubleshoot that remotely, but it can be a real quagmire. Giggity once you get into it. But yes, to answer your question, it could very well be the quality of the wood, but I think the more you see it, the more you'll go, well, wait, every single board is doing this, every cut I make is doing this. It's a good chance it's probably the calibration, the blade, or something in the setup, right?
All right, can you answer?
Now I could do Chris's question?
Yeah, do Chris's question.
Chris said, hey, good buddy, I have a customer wanting a drop leaf table, the type where the hinges are on the top and the table opens like a book and becomes wider. Having never built one, I'm worried about the hardware. The screws for the hinges on the top will need to support some of that weight, and I'm concerned about them becoming weak, wanting to pull out over time. I know some of the support will also come from the leaf folding out and resting against the original table side. Any thoughts here or experience? Well, I've never really made one of those. So the classic way you do this with a drop leaf is making what they call a rule joint. Excuse me. If you've ever seen it, it's kind of like an OG and then like a cove on the other piece so that they kind of nest together really nicely. And this way, when the leaf folds down, you have a nice attractive edge to look at. And then when the leaf comes back up, it just kind of covers and makes a nice little fine line there. But they nest together really well. There are also hinges that are specific to this purpose, drop leaf hinges. And they are sized in a way that gives them the support where they need it. So each leaf, if you're doing 2 hinges, you're looking at 6 screws per hinge, a total of 12 screws. If you're using a good quality hardwood for this, and something that's not, too prone to breaking apart or some cheap material, I think you're probably going to be fine. 12 screws into 3/4 inch stock is probably going to be pretty secure. And this is not something, we're not inventing anything new here. Many tables have been made this way. If you need it, and if you're not confident, add a 3rd hinge. That's certainly something you could do if you're just concerned. But I think it might even be overkill for most regular size tables. So,
I got a question here from Barefoot
Philanthropist.
Yeah.
I'll say it for you.
Thank you. Finally received my CNC last week. Loving it.
Cool.
How do you find you work it into your workflow? I find myself thinking of all these things I can do with it and then realize I could do those with tools.
Yeah. This is something I'm figuring out. So we finally got our new CNC, but It's still sitting on a pallet.
On a pallet.
And needs to be assembled. When I had a CNC before, it is something that I dipped my toes into and was just starting to get to the point where I was using it for more operations. It really is something where each one of us has to kind of find that spot where it just works, right? Whether it's making an entire project on the CNC or just using it to do portions of your project, or like a lot of us might be inclined to do, if we actually like using our hand tools in the shop, you might just be using it to make templates that would be very difficult, not impossible, but much more difficult and less accurate to make those templates by hand. Let's say you have a big long conference table and you want the side to have a nice gentle curve from one end to the other, and you need to make, an 8-foot template or something like that. That's really hard to pull off and get a nice, smooth-fared, regular curve doing it the way we might do it in our shops. If you have a CNC, suddenly that's trivial. It's not that big of a deal. So I think it really just comes down to the more skill you get, the more knowledge you have about the CNC, the more times you'll go, this is causing me a problem. I bet you the CNC could solve this problem for me and just make things easier and faster. When it's new, a lot of times the effort to get it to work on a CNC is neither easier or faster, neither one of those things. So the benefits aren't there because you're not fluent in the technique and the language you need and the software you need and all that stuff. So for me personally, I'm still figuring it out where that happy medium is. I still will use it for templates. That's what I've always done. But just before we moved from Colorado, we were getting into making some things like the controller holders, the wall-mounted controller holder. Like I built something in the shop the classic way, and then I go, well, wait a minute, what if I could do this on a CNC and now we could actually sell a few of these from the website? So I'm still delving into doing that. Most of the time, my CNC work has been limited to sheet goods, but I really do want to get into like, okay, well, if I can make that shape in sheet goods, then what happens if I just put my piece of walnut up there and make the actual project part with the CNC, right? But that's where, for me personally, that's where it gets into like, hey man, that's my job. Like the CNC is starting to do the things that I like doing. And I think that's where the personal side of it comes in.
Got some more questions.
Hit me with them.
Ready for some questions? And I do have the code for the free month of Guild Plus if you're interested.
Ooh la la.
Just stick around.
We got to change the project tomorrow. I got a notification.
Oh, yeah. Today is the last day for...
Yeah, what is it? Which project? Do you know?
The grandfather clock.
So as part of Guild Plus, every month we rotate a new course in from my collection of courses, which you can stream and you can download the plan. If you get into Guild Plus today, you can get the grandfather clock.
You have a whole day to watch about 10 hours of video.
But you can download the plans.
Yes, you can.
So zip through, spend the night, grab some popcorn, watch all the videos, get the plans, because tomorrow that project, the course changes to the next course.
The Beresford bookcase.
But if you join today, you essentially get 2 for your 1 month.
I absolutely love the barrister bookcase.
Okay.
All right. So I'll you know what? I'm just going to tell you right now. If you are already a Guild Plus member, and I haven't already extended your time a month, you can email me, Nicole@thewoodwhisperer.com, and I'll give you an extra month. But if you're brand new, you can use Live Plus at checkout, and that will take the $24 down to $0.
Wow.
You can also decide, you know what, I want to do it for a year, and it'll take $25 off or $24 off that whole year.
That's cool.
And you'll get a bunch of information about what's all included and all that fun stuff. So there you go. 318 people watching us.
What?
Live Plus.
Ermagerd.
Live Plus will get you a free month. And you can, if you do it monthly, you can auto renew it, or you can just say, no, I don't want to auto renew it. So it's totally, you're in control. So, Chet Klaus is in the chat, did a super chat. I finally made it back in time to see some live.
Good to see you, dude.
Nice to Chet.
Chet. Yeah. Chet. You remember Chet? He was at WIA.
Yes, I know.
Okay, we got one here from Vince. Vince says, I'm finally starting my hybrid workbench. I have a 9-inch hard maple to rip for the 4-inch thick top. I wanted to do this on the bandsaw as Mark did in the lessons. Can anyone recommend a good blade and size for this? My Laguna takes a 115-inch blade and up to 3/4 max. That's the width. What size do you recommend, and how many TPI for a job like this? Something of an amateur. Okay, I've got 2 recommendations. There's lots of recommendations you could use for this. A lot of people do want to and are inclined to go with the widest blade possible, thinking of like big giant resaw machines, right, that have these like giant crazy wide blades. I tend to go the other direction. Most of my blades, I mean, if I'm gifted one from a company and it happens to be carbide tipped or something like that, and it's wider, so be it. I'll use it until it's dull or breaks, which actually can happen. But most of the time when I'm picking it up, I go with a more, budget-friendly blade, because sometimes it's just cheaper to replace them periodically than to continue buying carbide tipped blades. Anyway, point is, I go with a narrower blade. What I would recommend is probably 1/2 inch or 3/8. It doesn't, even if you're doing big resaws, a narrower blade is not going to really hurt you much. Not much. It's not going to hurt you at all. It's going to be fine. So I have a recommendation. I don't know if you want to put these links in there or not. Timberwolf blade for $34 on Amazon. 115-inch. I believe it's a 3/8 blade. It's in the dock.
I'm looking. Oh, there they are.
And then also wood slicer at Highland Woodworking. That's about $49 for the size you're looking for.
These are Amazon affiliate links, except for Highland Woodworker. It is not, because they don't have an affiliate program.
Not anymore.
They said
we don't want to share money with you, losers. So it's about
our products.
3 to 4 teeth per inch is usually what you go for. With a resaw, you don't want a high tooth count, because you want to make sure you're clearing all the dust and debris out of the cut so that it's just free to continue to move. It's a lot, usually you're resawing something pretty big, like if you're doing veneer, you want something that is efficient, right? If you go with a high tooth count blade, you get a smoother cut, but you also get more friction, you get more potential for burning. Everything just heats up a lot more, and it's slower. So 3 to 4 teeth per inch is usually a decent way to go for resawing.
I'm going to look like I'm singing, because... You
look like you're trying out for American Idol. Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like if I put a little pressure right here, it stops.
Yeah, you want a set of headphones or something?
No. I just need pressure right at that point, and I'm
going to
okay.
hold it. Do the rest of the show like this.
I'm singing.
Little pitchy, dog.
I'm a little pitchy.
Okay. What else we got?
I got tons of questions. Michael Donaldson, I would like to make a small table for an uneven basement floor to put small power tools on. Can I use 4 legs, but cut one short and put an adjustable foot pad on another? Mike. Does that make sense?
So he wants a fifth leg
I would say,
that becomes adjustable.
can you make the basement floor even?
Yeah, let's pour some leveler.
Yeah,
on the
leveler,
floor.
because that's what you did in the shop in Colorado. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah, but that's weird. Something about that doesn't. I don't like it. What I would probably do is make your 4 legs, and then I might just get some of those adjustable, height adjustable
Like
feet.
the Turner thing.
Yeah, that you just rotate with an Allen key or something,
Yeah.
or if you can get to it, you could use your hands. I
What
might
if you
put
move
those.
the table? What if you want to move the table?
Well, that's why he wants an adjustable foot.
Yeah.
But what he's trying to do is say, okay, we'll always get 3 feet, 3 legs will touch the ground, and there's always, in an uneven floor, there's a 4th foot that isn't touching. So he's saying, give me an adjustable 5th leg that I can use to make that contact and stabilize it. But again, I don't think you need a 5th leg to do this. I think you could do this if you I would use 2, not just 1, but 2 of those metal adjustable feet. And I use these on my projects all the time in the shop. So 2 could have them, 2 would not have them. And then use those to make up any difference. Because sometimes, just having it on 1, it might just be better off having them on 2 or even all 4. And this way, just you move it slightly, you could just quickly adjust them as needed. And especially if you're trying to truly level this thing, having control on all of the legs will be, a little bit better.
Not wrong
But
one.
the fifth leg thing, I don't think that's
Mrs.
necessary.
Bobby C is in the chat.
Hey, Mrs. Bobby C.
Jack said he means like the MFT has 1 adjustable leg.
Yeah, I get that. So I just, okay.
I think and then
But didn't
Les
he say a
said,
5th leg?
I think he meant 4 legs, only 1 adjustable foot, not 5 legs. That's what I got out. I didn't get 5
Then
legs.
I misread that then because I thought he wanted 5 legs. So yes, but I would still probably want to balance this thing a little bit better
Yeah, that's what he said.
and having 2 adjustable.
What an interesting thought. 5-leg table.
Right, so that is something the MFT has. It's got this little turny hooch on the bottom, and you can make it a little bit longer to help level it out. So yeah, I mean, definitely this is something that could work, and that's why the 5th leg just threw me. So
Yeah.
I'm with you. Yes, I think you're on a good track there.
I love highlighting people that are coming in for the first time to the live show. So
wow.
Mike from Colombia. I'm assuming Colombia, Mexico, not Columbia, Missouri, but who knows?
I don't think Colombia's in Mexico.
Where's Colombia?
It's South America.
South America. I'm in, yeah.
I think it's its own country.
I think it is too.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, you don't come here for geography, my friends.
No, don't ask me.
We do not do
Do
that.
not, like, when Matteo says, I need help with geography, I'm like,
I'm pretty sure he means Columbia, New Jersey. That's my favorite city in New Jersey. Okay.
but I used to live in Columbia, Missouri.
Sure.
But I'm guessing Columbia, the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, got a super chat here from Corey. Nicolades.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Backside. I'm using a lot of Backside sandpaper to build 26-inch birch
locker cubby
locker
seats.
cubby seats. Great for a couple of Academy locker rooms. The Backside never quits. Oh, that's a good slogan.
That is a good slogan.
The Backside never quits.
Corey, we
So
might use that.
the Backside sandpaper is the sandpaper we've been making for a while now, backsideSandpaper.com. And I used a single piece of 320 grit that was already used when I took it home. And after I put the coat of primer on my window casings, I wanted to sand it down and smooth it before I put the coat of actual paint on. And I had this single piece of Backside sandpaper, again, already used from something in the shop, and I used that entire piece to do the entire 5 windows. And it's still a piece that I wouldn't yet throw away. So I love the fact that, this stuff is a convenience product, and it does cost a little bit more than if you just tri-folded some, old school tri-fold sandpaper. It also does last for a long time, so you're getting a pretty good bang for the buck. So yeah, go check it out, backsideSandpaper.com. We love it.
Troy said, time for Mark to engrave a world map on the CNC.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's our next project.
And Doug says, Columbia. There's like a Columbia in almost every single state in the United States.
Right.
There's even a Paris, Missouri, a Mexico, Missouri. Like they're all over.
There's a Mexico, New York.
Is there a Mexico, New York?
Yep. But, I mean, when someone says I'm from Colombia, though, without further information, I would just assume they're in Colombia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
I guess so.
Next question.
Next question. All right, Joe. I don't understand the need to do veneer on both sides. I'm going to try to speak faster. It is to do, is it
to do with the glue and the moisture introduced? What about sticker-based veneers? Okay, so I may not even be able to explain this because there's times where I was like, well, look, we glue wood pieces together in a lamination, right? And if you put an odd number or you take a board and you veneer, a little bit of a 1/4 inch on there, it's hard to figure out exactly what's going on there. But to my understanding, the wood, especially when you're talking about glue, you introduce a bit of moisture to one face. And as that moisture leaves, so first you have the moisture going in, which can definitely, impart a little bit of cupping. If you just put water on one side of a board, you generally will, even if it's a piece of plywood, you can cause it to warp. I actually did that on my brother's desk. I intentionally used water to get this stuff to warp back to the way that I wanted it.
Interesting.
Right? But putting moisture on one side will definitely do that. And I think by the time you put the moisture there, and then that moisture leaves and it cures and it starts to pull on the surface and contract a little bit, it just knocks it out of balance. So understanding exactly why this happens would be a fun little delving into the details on that. But the fact is it does. It just happens all the time. Now, will this be the same with adhesive backed? I don't know that it would because the adhesive isn't imparting any moisture. So there's no swelling, there's no shrinking that occurs. You're just literally applying it with almost a contact adhesive. So maybe not in that case. And I would probably defer to people who have a lot more veneering experience to answer that question. Do you need to balance when you have already, adhesive backed veneer or paper backed veneer going onto a surface? Do you have to do both sides? My suspicion is that you don't, because I don't see any reason why it would be contracting, pulling, or it's not introducing moisture, so I don't think it's going to have the same properties.
How many veneer videos do you have?
Oh, I don't know.
You have quite a few.
I mean not that many, but we've done
I remember
veneering.
one of your
Certainly
earlier
in the
ones.
guild.
You made your bag.
Oh yeah, that was true.
And
that was early.
I've seen comments come in going, "What a waste of time! He didn't even make the bag." But didn't you make the bag? Something happened with the bag.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
But yes, I remember.
I remember it was a struggle.
Yeah, because you have to use a special adhesive between those sheets. I don't know if it was a vinyl bag, poly. I can't remember. But you got to get that seal just right.
Yeah.
And I remember having trouble with that, and then eventually just was like, screw it. I'm just gonna buy one.
Was it Joe Veneer?
Joe Woodworker. Joe Veneer. Yep. But he is Veneer Supplies.
VeneerSupplies.com.
As well as Joe Woodworker.
Joe Veneer.
You just combine the two.
Just combine the two. Yeah. Rawl says, keep pressing enter by accident. My Craig circular track saw keeps giving me bad cuts, bowing at 1/8 around the middle when cutting ply or pine. This one. There might be more to it, so I'm...
Circular track saw keeps giving me bad cuts, bowing about 1/8 of an inch around the middle one. Well, so I'm assuming we're talking about an edge, right? So if you're doing a long cut, you're just doing a rip, and you're saying that it's not staying flat or straight. If it's consistently happening, and it's not just happening on the offcut, right? Because you could do a rip on something, and then the offcut can kind of move a little bit on you, especially if it's a narrow piece. But if the keeper piece or the other piece is also showing some kind of a bow in there, I would be looking at that track and trying to figure out if there's a possibility that the track isn't straight. It could very well be the case. I don't know what else it could be if this is happening consistently. If it's inconsistent, I don't know. That's weird. I mean, that's the joy of a track. The saw goes where you tell it to go. So there's really no reason it should.
Yeah, he just said, I'm not sure why it's doing that.
I would suspect the track and see if you could somehow determine if it's truly straight. Certainly sighting is one way to do it, but
what if he had
1/8 of an inch is so small.
One of those little square thingies.
The problem is it's a long edge. So we're trying to see, is that straight? And the best way...
Don't you have one of those long...
I've got a 4-footer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the only way to easily check a straight edge is with another straight edge. And that's fundamentally the problem sometimes.
We got a question here from Deborah. Actually, it's more of a comment. Deborah, thank you for... she just said, I had to jump on the video and tell you both how much I love watching the two of you banter back and forth.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad someone does.
I enjoy it too.
Well, sometimes I don't know, like the balance of woodworking and banter.
Yeah.
And I think people can see it, that I get a little impatient when there's too much bantering.
And all I want to do is banter.
And all I want to do is answer woodworking questions, which makes us a pretty good combination.
We are a yin and a yang combo.
But we are not the same.
No,
that is for sure. Yeah, so I'm one of those people who's like, enough, it is crap, let's talk about woodworking. And
business.
But that's why we love hearing from spouses who aren't even woodworkers that enjoy watching this.
Oh,
because apparently there's something happening here.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But I'm glad.
We're doing couples therapy.
That's what this is. This is why we don't go to therapy.
I go to therapy.
Well, you do.
You should too.
You're crazy.
You're
crazy
just
in the
as
head.
crazy.
Oh. It's from the United States.
It's just from the United States.
Yep.
I better get it.
Actually, it would be funny if it said Colombia. They're real upset about the Mexico comment.
David Couch. On the resaw question, check the moisture of the wood. It may be cupping due to moisture differential between the outside and the inside of the material.
Yeah, if it's improperly dried or not fully dried, when you cut down the middle, you're exposing that moisty center, and you could definitely wreak some havoc.
And if you're wondering why I have trouble pronouncing words, I've always had trouble pronouncing words.
That's nothing new.
It's just a little bit more intense now.
Yeah. Well, your pronunciation and the speed that you talk is a lot slower.
Yes.
In this current state of mind that you're in.
Yes. It's weird.
It's tricky.
Let's see. We got Tommaso. Hi, Tommaso. Awesome, Tommaso. I like how you renamed yourself. Morning, old friend. How do you arrive at your guild project pricing? Is it based on video hours, complexity, time involved? That's proprietary information, Tommaso.
Tommaso, would you be surprised to know that it's mostly just a gut feeling on my part that I price my projects and courses? Because that's the answer.
Yeah.
I do try to be consistent.
Yeah.
But purely elapsed time doesn't actually tell you the value, right? Because when I watch something, it's not just about the time, it's about the quality of information that's being delivered in that time.
Yeah.
In the beginning, we were just more wordy in the guild. We had less editing, there was more talking. Some people prefer that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, we try to get a little bit smarter. We want to make the best use of your time. So our total time for a course can get shorter, even though the quality is increasing. We're just making better use of your time with our editing and the way that we shoot. So doing that is not always going to get us the right number.
Right.
But a lot of the time, I simply look, what is the complexity of the project? Just the general complexity. How many different techniques are people going to be learning when they are watching this thing? Look at the instructor. I want to see, what is the availability of this person's information outside of the guild? Is this unique to the guild? Can you find anyone else doing a whole bunch of information on Danish cord, right? For like Caleb's courses? Well, if not, then maybe this should be a little bit more expensive because the value is there.
Right.
And then ultimately we have a ceiling on pricing that makes it difficult for us to sell anything if we go beyond a certain point, which is tough when everything else, we talked about this before, everything keeps getting more expensive. Excuse me. It's costing me a lot more money to make these guild courses.
To serve it.
To actually serve it and, physically get someone there to do the filming and all that stuff. So it's a little bit tricky, but honestly, a lot of it is gut feeling and just course correcting as we go. And just hopefully making a fair price. And frankly, I think it is a little lopsided, just knowing what I know of the woodworking industry, the woodworking education industry, and the kind of details you get in the guild are worth more than we charge, right? And but the thing is, I don't think the marketplace will sustain that. So that's why it's as cheap as it is. And a lot of people, I mean, it's relative, right? People would look at the pricing and go, well, that's too expensive for me. Totally get that.
Yeah.
Woodworking courses and go to a class and you're going to be $1,000 into it for most, quality courses. So, it's tough.
And I think a lot of times what I hear back too is, oh, I'm not ready for the guild. I'm like,
yes, you are.
Yeah, you are. You
Everybody's
totally
ready.
are for the guild.
Our favorite ones are the people who have very little experience.
Yeah.
They're amassing their tool collection. They get started in the guild and they just follow the instructions and they push out this project. They're like, I can't believe I built this.
I can't believe I built this. And if you're curious about some testimonials of Guild Plus, again, I gave you a free month of Guild Plus. Go over to love.thewoodwhispererguild.com and you'll see some testimonials from some of the current subscribers of Guild Plus and even members. And the thing to keep in mind is the channel you're on right now is our main channel. This was the original channel.
Yeah.
And that started in 2006. And then in 2009 was MARC feeling stifled in YouTube to not be able to give all the details. And so that's kind of where the guild came up as a online woodworking school. So they are two separate things.
It's a very different presentation style.
And so some people do get confused because you're like, I thought I was on the Wood Whisperer and now I'm on the guild. And so it can, blend. And the audiences do cross. But there are some people that, they're not as interested in the guild. They just want to hang out with us on the main site. And totally fine.
That's what we're doing here.
So that's what we do here on Fridays. So I'm always happy to discuss any of that if you have questions. Alex wants to know, do you think adding a blade stabilizer is worth it on a job site table saw?
Oh, I don't know, Alex. Do you even have a table saw? Didn't we talk about this? Or you have a job site one that you just don't use a lot? I guess that's the nature of the question.
Alex was he was one of the students in our first class.
So on less expensive saws where just the body of the saw isn't as heavy and heavy duty as it could be, you can get some vibrations. You're running a very thin blade because it's an underpowered motor. So it's a lot harder to run a big chunky blade. So people are generally running thin kerf blades. And the theory behind this is that sort of situation leads to a bit of a wobble. So when you're trying to make a really nice, precise cut, you end up getting just enough wobbling to make the quality of cut suffer. So what people do sometimes is they get a blade stabilizer, which is basically like a big heavy-duty washer that goes over the arbor, and then the arbor nut goes on top of that. And it distributes some of that pressure from the arbor nut to stiffen the blade. Whether this is necessary and whether it produces the results you're looking for, I don't know. I've actually never had one. I've never tried it, but it is a product that exists. So I don't know. The question, what I would first do in your case is make sure you have good zero clearance on there and make sure you have a good quality thin kerf blade on there and also the appropriate tooth count for the job that you're trying to do. If you do all of that and you still look at the cut quality and go, that's not what it should be, well, then maybe we look into a blade stiffener at that point. I would not add one until you've tested it and determined that it's a problem.
Andy, you made my day. Nicole's better at pronouncing words than Matt.
Well, yeah, for sure. And don't get her started on names, though.
No, don't get me started on names. So Tommaso followed up and said, gut feeling is a valid answer. Just seeing others price projects that are comparable in what is provided at double your price.
Well, then, okay, thanks, Tommaso. I will be doubling all of our prices starting tomorrow.
But here's the funny thing.
I mean, am I wrong about this? The tolerance for the price?
Here's the funny thing. It's hard to know if it's actually comparable to what we provide.
Well, the product is. It's hard to tell. Yeah, and we often hear that it's not.
We often hear a lot of times that it's not.
So we're charging less, we're giving more, and this is why we're having money problems. This is why we can't have nice things.
I like I want it accessible. I want
Honestly, anything north of $100,
yes.
I start to get a little itchy about.
Yeah.
And there are absolutely courses that are worth that much. We couldn't justify
like with
Frank's course.
Frank's course,
But that's on a different level.
It's
It's 23 videos. It is like 8 or 9 hours of content. Anything less than $100 would be just silly for us to do. So it just, for me personally, and I guess it's my own baggage that I bring along for the ride, that anything over $100 starts to make me feel like it's too much. And I'm probably wrong with that. But honestly, I'd rather have more bodies in the guild and more people learning and keeping the community active at a lower price point than eking out every dollar we can from each individual sale and getting fewer sales. But it does irk me a little bit that, like, if everybody else is charging double.
There's been times where I'm like, $250 for that?
For that, yeah.
What?
For that? From them?
I'm like, who are you?
Sorry.
I mean,
hey, if it's working for them.
It's working. I'm not peeing on anybody's parade.
That's what I do. I love peeing on parades.
But Tommaso, if you have any reconnaissance for me, let me know.
Yeah, let us know who it is, how much it is, and how many hours of content it is.
A number of content doesn't always equal quality.
Nope, we just said that earlier.
Go fund yourself. I love this name.
That's pretty good.
I've been trying to put together a Tambor door, but when I rip down the slats, they always keep bowing due to the tension and recommendations. Go find yourself. Did you pick up Philip's course?
You want to see somebody who's pretty damn good at it? Philip Morley's record console it features a Tambor door. I have never made one.
Yeah. Are you scared?
No, I just never had a reason to.
You're scared.
Like, it needs to be designed into it, and it's something I've never thought about designing.
You know what? I would love I love old records. I love vinyl. And I have a record player. I would love for you to make me this Tambor door record console.
If I remember correctly, though, I don't think Philip is using solid wood for his Tambor. Yeah. I think he's using sheet goods that have been... what did you do?
I didn't mean to do that, sorry.
Okay. I think he's using sheet goods and has a veneered surface on there. That is going, or at least some kind of a stave core to it. That's what's going to stabilize this thing in his case. If you're just using solid wood, once you cut into those little teeny tiny sticks, movement might be a real issue. What I would recommend maybe is to mill the pieces a little bit larger. You're going to be more wasteful this way, but once you start to rip them down, mill them big enough so that you can actually do a little bit of jointing and planing to get them to be flat after the cutting. It's the cutting that releases all that pressure. So once you have a feel for how much deviation you're getting from straightness or flatness, leave that little bit of extra and then mill them again one more time, and they should behave a whole lot better. But also look into, something like what I believe Philip did, something that's more stable to begin with. And if you have a stable product from the beginning, it's just going to be much more predictable.
Kevin says, $199 is the new 99.
That's what they say. Yep. We shall see, my friends. I just, very uncomfortable. Makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But we've always said that we are not the Walmart
of
woodworking video. We always want it to be the premium version of these things.
Yeah.
But I still just, I guess it's old baggage. I can't get over the pricing.
Yeah, it's interesting.
All right, what else we got?
We got a question here from Keith.
Oh, we're over 11 o'clock.
Oh my God.
We got to wrap it up.
Keith is going to be here next week. Is it next week, Keith?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it?
Yes.
I thought it was March.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, Keith?
Keith.
I don't know about Keith's schedule. The class is next week.
The class is next week, but I can't remember if he's February or March. But he's coming to visit and build the bar stool. But he says, I'm finally getting around to using dovetails. I got from Rob during the training.
Dovetail tools, yeah.
Yeah. I keep breaking the fret saw blades, cutting hard maple, cutting the waste. Any thoughts?
Don't use hard maple?
I mean...
Fret saws have very fragile blades.
They're very
especially
delicate.
Yeah, especially if you get the specific blades for it that are just really, really thin for making those detailed turns. So a couple things you can do is maybe determine if you really need that fine of a blade. You might be able to get away with a more aggressive, thicker bodied fret saw blade that will last a little bit longer and cut a little bit more aggressively, but still cut clean. You don't need a perfect cut with a fret saw, right? You're just clearing the waste. So it's more important that you get through it quickly than that you have a perfect fine cut. You're going to tune all that up later with the chisel. So go with a more durable blade, but also the fact is you're in hard maple. That's asking a lot of a little teeny tiny blade. It's also going to take you a whole lot longer to use one of those really, really fine blades. So I think that's the answer. First of all, go slow. If you find yourself really flexing that blade, you can very easily break it with just too much pressure on it. So slow down. Well, you could speed up the cut action, but slow down the movement of your hand as you're going. Give it time to clear and then work your way through. But I really think you might be better off with a more aggressive blade in this situation.
We got a question here. Somebody said something about a pie safe with a tamper door. Good
idea, Tim. Let me know when you decide to do
that. Tristan. Hey, Mark. I've been asked to go back to my high school to teach the industrial wood to figure out what to focus on. What do you think the most important thing in woodworking is to teach to a beginner?
Oh, that's a tough question.
So it's high school. Man, I could put you into... We have an amazing bunch of high school industrial arts teachers in this area. I bet you... Because I know I have a Makerspace Facebook group that's like Makerspace teachers. That have you looked into groups on Facebook? Because a lot of those lesson plans are out there. Like, for instance, if I'm teaching 3D printing, the first thing I do is a fidget spinner.
Yeah.
Because those kids can't get enough of that stuff. And you want to engage them.
That's the problem that I'm having with this. Like, I know if I were teaching adults,
right,
you know, what I would find important to do first.
Right.
But when you're talking about kids, and even high schoolers, you're looking at...
They just want to drill stuff.
Well, like, you're looking at attention span issues. You want to grab their attention with something interesting enough, but you don't want them to be unsafe.
Right.
So this is something where I would absolutely look toward other shop teachers for guidance on this, because I feel like I'm not prepared to answer that question in a way that would be really helpful.
Yeah.
I think it, defer to the people who actually do this every day.
Yeah. Like, go if you're not on Facebook, I'll look. But even something, honestly, industrial wood, are you only teaching wood? Because here's the thing, if you can bring in some kind of lasering or 3D printing and make it truly into a maker space, that stuff gets easier to teach when you can throw technology and teach them lifelong skills on learning how to work a CNC, how to design something in Fusion 360. Like, it's more than just, I built a pot.
A napkin holder?
A napkin holder.
Yeah.
So I look at it as more of planting little seeds for those kids that say, oh, I remember that time Mr. Tristan taught us how to, design in CAD. And, oh, I have an idea. Maybe I could go back to that.
Yeah.
So, and finding those engagement. And there are so many groups on Facebook that devote that kind of energy, and even teacherpayteacher.com. You can go there and see what the industrial arts teachers are teaching and get example lesson plans. No, we don't have to create in a void now. We have a huge community that we can learn from and build off of. So that's...
Should we pick winners?
What am I?
So we can close out the show?
Winners for what?
Oh, no, I thought you were... Oh, you did a code for the
I
Guild
just did.
Plus.
Yeah, I just did a code.
So everybody gets a free month?
Everybody gets a free month.
Girl, what are you doing?
Free month.
You crazy?
I'm crazy. 4 people have
Okay,
already used it.
I had it in my head we were picking winners.
No,
but-
heck no.
Okay, well, you're all winners, I guess.
You're all winners that's watching right now.
Okay.
I will tell you that the coupon will expire on Valentine's Day. So
I don't know why it didn't register in my brain that that's what you were doing.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm there. I'm with you. Well, then we don't have to pick a winner.
we don't have to pick any
and we
winners.
can finish up the show.
Yeah, just go to the Guild website, underneath Plus, pick a month, put the code in, which was, what the hell was the code?
Live Plus or something like that.
Live Plus. Yeah, Live Plus.
Okay.
And it will take the amount down to 0.
Good.
And you can go watch Mark's demo from the marking that he was just talking about.
Yeah, measuring and marking.
Measuring and marking. You
Couple interviews.
Couple interviews from Ashley. Video interviews.
And Caleb.
And you can watch the grandfather clock. And
Yep.
then tomorrow you can watch the barrister bookcase.
Yes,
Like-
there you go.
Oh my God.
Okay.
It's amazing.
It's awesome. You ready to go?
No, I'm not ready to go because Mike has a question about me.
Okay.
And I like to talk about me.
Yes, you do.
He wanted to know what I did before TWW.
Nothing.
You know he's full of crap. I was the sugar mama. Mm-hmm. I worked
Stop tapping the table. I was a professional table tapper. Right, go ahead.
I worked for a computer company based out of Washington, D.C. I was a technical trainer for adults where I would go into the IT staff and I would say, hey, I'm going to teach you how to use this software. This is all of the servers that you need and we need to configure, blah, 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 blah. So I traveled for 14 years before we decided to hire me on full time. And honestly, I played Fallout. What did I play? Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 76 for 4 months before I even started working for the business.
Yeah.
And Mark was like,
I think vacation time is over.
I think vacation time is over. Can you start doing something?
Yeah. Yeah,
But I had a major burnout of traveling for 14 years.
Yeah. And her being on the road was like the primary reason the Wood Whisperer started in the first place.
Because he got bored.
I was would spend a lot of time alone. There was nothing going on, so I'm like messing with a camera and decided to put some video online. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was quite a while later. We finally got stable enough that I figured, hey, if we can get her working for the business and doing a lot of the stuff that I don't know how to do, can't do, or don't want to do, like we could really start to do something with this. And that's when she shifted careers.
Yeah. Even so, I double majored. I was a computer science major. I think I was really close to getting that degree, but I was like 15 credits short. But I just wanted to graduate. But I did graduate with a degree in marketing and management. And I've always kind of looked at advertising, marketing from a more personal view, like how would I want to be treated and talked to, which that doesn't always jive with the numbers. So, and what the data tells us, right?
Oh yeah, never
So
does.
it's a never-ending kind of battle that happens.
Yep.
So, but Bobby C is correct. I also was a gum chewing receptionist at a lumber yard.
Episode 2, I think maybe. Yes. Okay, we're good.
And thank you, Bobby C, for the super chat.
Thank
That was
you, Bobby
very,
C.
very nice. So,
All right. Well, thank you everybody for enduring this weird backdrop. I think we'll do it again next week. It looks fine.
I think it's fine.
Outside of actually needing something in the shop to show, they're like, "Oh, could you show me the axe behind you?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I'm not going to be
Move
able to grab it."
Deadpool. We
Yeah,
always
move
give
Deadpool.
him move Deadpool.
You can do. Deadpool's stuck right where he is.
I'll try to see if I can find my steam iron and maybe steam out some of the wrinkles.
Sure, that sounds important.
Oh, Tommy, he really wants to see Matteo's Legos.
All right, what's the easiest way to do this? Let me see.
Yeah, can you
I'll take a picture.
Yeah. Can I click to start Mark's camera?
Yeah, try that.
Oop, oop.
Okay.
All right.
So there's no stabilization on this. It's going to be a little bit wonky.
So this is his Mario world. He's really into the Lego Marios right now, and him and his sister come down here and they pretend and they play Super Mario World. And then up there is the giant Bowser. There's Matteo.
I'm here. There was a delay on the stream.
Oh, was there?
You wanna showcase your say hi to everybody. There's Matteo. Yeah. So those are all of his Legos.
Yes, I know.
Looking good, bud.
You're doing a good job.
All right.
He's a builder.
That's going to do it for us
Builder like
today.
his dada.
Yeah. Just
Hey.
Legos.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, we appreciate
We
it.
won't see you next week. We'll see you the week after. So.
Right. Yeah. So in 2 weeks, we'll do another show. Yeah. Have a great couple of weeks in the meantime, and we'll catch you later. Oh, don't forget, video coming out today.
Yeah.
As soon as I'm done here, I'm going to go publish it.
Oh,
Go watch it for me.
hey, they just keep doing super chats. Mike, thank you. Pear-shaped bowling saying thank you. It's the it's the animated
Pear character bowing,
saying
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Why is it pear shaped?
It's just how it's an avatar, and the thing doesn't really do it well.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll catch you next time.